All right, everyone, our first run is ready, so join me in welcoming InfinityGene with Klonoa Road to Phantomile. Take it away.
To Klonoa Door to Phantomile for the PlayStation 1. It's going to be a bit of a magical adventure, this game. If you've never seen Klonoa, then this is going to be your first opportunity to see pretty much the entire game. Within reason, there's going to be quite a few skips that we do in this run. We're going to make sure the name is correct, of course, NoHA24. And then we're going to get straight into it. So, just while I let this intro just play in a little bit, I'm going to explain like the basics of the game, pretty much. So we're going to be going through 6 different worlds with 2 levels each, and then after 2 levels, we're going to be doing a boss on each one, followed by the final boss after the 6th world. The controls are pretty basic on this game. Time's going to start in about 5 seconds, so in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So we start off with 1-1. So 1-1 is sort of like your basic sort of tutorial style level. Just gets you used to the mechanics. Your main mechanics are pretty much using the wind ring to pick up enemies, which are known as moos. And moos come in different varieties as well. So we got these purplish moos, which pretty much charge into you. But the basic enemies that you'll see in the game are red moos. Red moos are just standard enemies that waltz around. They're kind of like Waddle Dees from like the Kirby series in a way. But we'll be using these moves in multiple ways. So one of the base mechanics is double jumping. So we'll be picking up a move to do extra high jumps pretty much. The other times that we'll be using moves is when we're trying to target certain things like enemies or mechanisms like switches. The other mechanic as well that I can do as well is hover on the spot as well. So if I need to hover just to get a bit more distance, I can do so. But I only can do it for about 1 second. But yeah, for this first level, you pretty much don't need any moves. We're pretty much nearly done. It's going to fall down there. Whoops. The other thing that we're going to also be doing is manipulating some of the sort of the 2.5D aspect of the game, because as you've seen here, the gameplay is 2.5D, so 2D sprites in a 3D sort of environment. And there's ways we can manipulate that to our advantage. So that's going to be interacting with things sort of unintentionally in the background or in the foreground. And we're going to be seeing that probably going from World 3 onwards, I would say. Oops, so I'm just going to get past that. So again, this is like another tutorial level, pretty much. Just going to get past those enemies. They can be a bit of a pain. And now we're going on to the most stable roller coaster ever made. Because it's a bit strange that they make a roller coaster like this, where, you know, you've got all these tracks here. You've got a perfectly made coaster, and then suddenly it breaks down on the very first usage. I have no idea why. So yeah, you can't fall off this section. You can just dance around if you like, pick up some gems if you like, and then just get ready to hold left and go through the door. So in the outside section, we're going to use this wind vent to go straight up, and then we're going to take the upper path here. If you take the lower path, it'll take you to like an extra area with like some bonus stuff, like extra lives, extra gems, and also to get some more of the prisoners. Because one of the main things you would do in the game normally is to rescue the prisoners. It's kind of like a Rayman aspect thing, that really, where you'd have to rescue all 6 of them in each level. But we don't need to do that for this run. We do want to keep that rabbit there, because we want to jump over this one, and then we can throw that move over to there to activate this. So this is one example of using moves to activate certain mechanisms, so in this case knocking down that pillar. We're just going to make sure not to take too much damage here, because we're going to be using some of our HP for some damage boosts, but I can pick up some more HP in a second, because there's plenty of HP just before the boss right here. I'm going to lose a bit more there, why not? And now we're entering the first boss fight, which is Rongo Lango. So the idea with the bosses, they all have weak spots. So in this case, Rongo Lango's weak spot is the red parts on the body. So we're going to launch moves into his back, and then we're going to grab another one. He's going to jump towards us now, and then we're going to throw another. Going to get ready for another move grab here. So you can grab moves as they're coming like into the ground or into the arena. Just going to wait till he bends his back, and he's dead. And that's the first boss done, and that's the first world done already. So pretty much this is how each of the worlds are going to be. We're going to skip all the cutscenes by mashing down start all the time. And now we're into Vision 2-1. So So with Vision 2.1, we want to try and make sure that we stay on this certain cycle, just so we've got the right sort of rhythm for this entire level. However, many things can change that. For example, taking damage there can slow us down. The enemy here taking out that moo can also do that, which I just did then. So now we're not going to be on the cycle I want to be on, but that's fine, because we can just still carry on with this mouse moo. And then we can jump on this leaf, and then just bounce, do a double jump there. We're going to just jump past this moo, while I get squeezed like that. We're going to take this moo inside, because we need it to jump up onto this ledge. And then we're going to introduce key doors into this game now. So key doors pretty much need a key to open them. However, you're going to see from World 3 onwards that we're probably not going to need keys all the time. And we'll get onto that later. So coming into this room here, we want to basically just do a standard ring shot by standing still. And then we can grab this move like that. Whoops. And then we just want to make sure we don't get any more damage here. So the reason why I did a shot there is just to slow myself down. I'm going to grab that key there. I'm going to see if I can jump up here in time. There we go. So I had to make that cycle, otherwise I would lose a few seconds. But yeah, the idea is if you basically shoot your wind ring... oops. I'm going to die there, I guess. Unfortunately, that can happen. So yeah, the idea is I use the wind ring in that last room there just to slow myself down. Normally, we wouldn't use our ring unless we jump first. Because if we jump and then shoot, we don't slow down. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to grab this red moo. I'm going to try and keep it past these spiky moos. And then this is where we can skip a little bit of the level, like that. So that's the idea of sort of manipulating your movements to get onto like areas that you're not meant to get onto earlier. Because normally you'd have to go around to access that ledge there. And then we're on the end of the level. So that's 2-1 done. Moving on to 2-2, the waterfall level. The waterfall level, there's some parts in it where I want to try and keep into that sort of rhythm of not missing any of the actions that I do on it. Otherwise it's going to slow me down a little bit. So I'm going to keep moving all the time on this level. Hopefully not to take any damage here. Got to make sure that I pause there to skip the cutscene. Going to jump over here. Going to not go around there. Just going to jump up here to go up here early. Going to grab that. And then skip all that. So now we're inside. I'm going to try and make sure that I can make this cycle. Whoops. Might be a little hit and miss now. Let's see how we get on. Nope, we're good. So I want to keep this move just so I can go outside. It's just more optimal to keep this move than to grab that one there. And then we can just jump across here. And then here I'm just not going to stop at all. So I'm just going to keep moving. Just because everything's sort of in that rhythm right now for me. I can keep moving, and then we're nearly there. Feel that move, and then we stop here, just so we can grab that, and then jump up here. And then for the rest of the level, it's pretty straightforward until we get to the boss. I can start explaining the boss just ahead of time. So the boss, essentially it's like two bosses in one. So we've got Pamela, which is the main target of the boss. And then we've also got Seedoff, who's sort of the villain that's riding Pamela, who's basically like a dolphin. I nearly said a whale then. But the idea is we want to grab Seedoff and then throw Seedoff back at Pamela in the fight. That's the only way that we can attack the boss. So you might also see these giant moves at times. Don't worry about them. You just inflate them and then they won't bother you anymore. And then we're just going to ride down this waterfall stream, grab some HP, because we're going to need a little bit of HP for this fight, probably, just in case. Otherwise, we'll have to play it a little bit safe. Jump up here. I'm going to grab that extra life, just as a precaution, just because I already took a death earlier. I'm going to skip through that cutscene, and I'm going to hit this mechanism, and then skip through that cutscene. And now we're entering the second fight of the game. So, as I mentioned, that we're going to be basically taking Seedoff, which is riding Pamela right now, by waiting until she charges towards us. And then we're going to move out of the way. And we're going to grab. And then we're going to get ready to throw back. Like so. So that's one way of attacking. The other way is also waiting for Seedoff to go onto one of these spiky balls. Which he's not going to do right now. The other way you can also do is doing a damage boost to grab Seedoff as well. So there's like 3 different ways you can grab. Like so. That's a good hit. Just going to watch my HP here because I'm quite low. What they're going to do. Right, so he's going to go onto the balls now. And you can tell he's going to do that because the camera basically zooms out a little bit more. And that's the third hit. I've got one more to go. And just got to wait. Oh, nearly. So I'm just going to have to wait again for another attack. Whether it's a dive or if it's going on the balls. Oh, now I'm going to have to wait again. This fight's usually one of the more troublesome fights in the game, for sure. Just got to watch out there. Let's take my time. There we go. So yeah, this fight can be a little bit scary, especially if you go in with low HP. So ideally you want to be on like 4 HP or more if you can. And with that, the Pamela fight is done. Just got to wait till the screen goes to white so I can skip the cutscene. Now we start getting into some more interesting tricks into the run. This is where we do some of the more major skips into the run, starting from 3-1 onwards. So to begin with, on this level, we're going to be doing some key door skips. And we're going to be doing that by clipping through the doors. And the way we do that is by grabbing a moo, and then doing 1-frame inputs through the door, essentially. But there's different ways of how we do that. It's not a case of just going up to the door and just tapping left once for 1 frame. We have to do a few bits of setup before we can do so, because there's certain parts that you can clip through, but not all of it can be clipped. But essentially, if you've got a moo, you can clip through the majority of things. However, in this playthrough, we won't need to do, you know, all these clips everywhere. There's only certain parts that will be doing it, because it'll save us the most time. On a tool-assisted speedrun, they most likely will do probably clips all over the place, just because they can do 1-frame inputs whenever they want and go through walls smoothly, like they don't exist. And that's essentially what we're going to be doing here. We're going to be acting as if these key doors don't exist. So this is the only key dot we're going to be doing for this level. There are 3 in the level that we need to do normally. So this one here cannot be clipped, but the next 2 can. And there's different setups for each one that we do. So with the second key dot that we're coming to, what we're going to do is we're going to do 1 tap to the left, and then we're going to hold left as well. And that will just let us go through the door without having to spend 20 seconds going to go get a key. So I have to wait till this goes up, because it won't let me go left until I do so. So instead of going all the way around here, all we have to do is go like this. Jump, 1-frame tap. Once we get it, there we go. Oh. There we go. Lost a little bit of time there, but it's fine. And essentially you just go through the door like it doesn't exist. Now, the next door that we're approaching is a little bit different. We have to do 1-frame tap to the right, then we have to do a jump, and then do a 1-frame tap to the left, and then do 1 more right, and then do 1 more left. So it's left, right, basically. And what we also want to do is get this moo before we do so, because we can't clip through the door without the moo. Without the moo, you just cannot clip at all. So I'm going to do 1-frame tap to the right, 1 to the left if I can. So I know that, oops, nearly. Got to make sure I've got the right position. Oh, let's try and do that again. It can be a bit finicky, this one, for sure. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, so if you can get that straight away, then obviously you're going to save a lot of time. We still save some time, of course, instead of going the long way. So now we're on to a similar thing that we've been on before, another coaster. Except this time we're going to try and keep this moo alive. And by doing so, we can skip an extra, I guess, I call it a moo cycle. So basically picking up a moo and having to use a moo for something, because we've already got one. So we're going to basically move around on this coaster just to avoid these spiky moos, which are indestructible. There's different ways that we go through them. So instead of going through the middle here, we just go to the left and jump. Do it again. Pick up some HP for good measure. Then we just hold right for the rest of this coaster journey. It looks like at certain points on the coaster, it does look like that I'm going to get hit. But for the most part, I'm fine. It's more of like a sprite layering thing, that really, where the spiky moves are sort of in front of everything. So I'm just going to get past this moo. I'm going to grab him. So normally you would have to grab that moo twice, but because we had a moo already, we don't need to do that twice. And now we're approaching the end of 3-1. So what we're going to do here is we're going to destroy the giant moo's armor. First, he's going to move around, and we're going to try and avoid him if we can. And hit the switch. Now we're going to go over here. Just going to grab this moo. Oops, never mind. Just going to do that just so I could get up here a tiny bit quicker. And then jump up here, and then we're pretty much done with the level. So yeah, 3-1 introduces clipping. But we're going to be doing some different types of clips in the run. So it's not going to be just going into doors, we're going to be doing clips into walls as well. And with 3-1 done, we are going into 3-2. So 3-2, it's quite a back and forth level. So initially we have to go all the way to the right to go get a key, and then to the left to go activate the mechanism, and then all the way back to the right to do the boss, basically. Because the idea on this level is you've got to activate this mechanism to access the boss. Now, technically there is a way that you could probably get up here early, but the problem is that there's elevators up ahead that aren't even activated until you hit this mechanism. So even if you could get up there on the top left early, it wouldn't matter, because you can't actually finish a level, because those mechanisms do not work till you hit this specific switch. So we're going to pick up the key, and then we're just going to go back the way we came. At times as well, you might see me jumping up some slopes, and that's because when Klonoa's going up some steep slopes, he is going slower. So we want to make sure that we're jumping as much as possible for that. So with the key door here, we're just going to go through it, and then just going to head straight to the left to go pick up this spider moo. Jump up here, grab that moo, and then we're going to fly over there. Just got to watch out for these. There we go. Whoops. And now we're going to jump up here, fall down and hit the switch. You can just take the damage there, not a problem, get rid of him. And we're going to be using that pink door later, just as a shortcut. Just going to get rid of this bomb moo. As you saw earlier, they do explode after a few seconds. Going to skip through that cutscene there, jump across him. And now, in a moment, the game's going to introduce us to sort of one of the more puzzle parts of the run. So this is kind of the only sort of puzzle-ish room that you'd get. So the idea is you want to get the bomb moo here, you want to throw it there, and then just run quickly to the other door. Because after a few seconds the door will close, basically, so the switch turns itself back off. We're also going to introduce triple jumping here, which is an actual mechanic in the game. So you get one moo, and then you just do it again, like so. Easy. But we're going to be doing essentially a quad jump later on after this level, which isn't intentional. But it does save us like a good minute into a level, so it's worth going for. So now that we've got the key, we can open up the mechanism room. And then once we hit this combination here, which is going to be 1, 3, 2, the mechanism works. And now we can go all the way back to the beginning again. Except we got a bit of a shortcut that we can take, though. Got to make sure that when we go through this shortcut here that we don't accidentally put a foot onto the platform. Otherwise we essentially lose quite a lot of time. Because the platform will swing around the moment that Klonoa makes contact, so we're going to jump here. Sometimes it's easy to forget that, so... Just going to pick up this bit of HP, because why not? Full HP is always nice. So now you can see the mechanism's moving, and now we just got to wait until the platform goes to the right, because we can't jump up that way. It is possible to bring a moo into here through clipping, but the problem is it depends on how quick you are really with that. Because if you can get the moo quickly enough, then it's going to save you a little bit of time. But if you start taking your time trying to bring the moo into the room, it's not going to save you much, or if it's probably going to lose you time, to be honest. So we're just going to proceed through these last two rooms. We're going to go outside here and just avoid some of the spiky balls. And then we're going to be entering the boss fight known as Gelg Bolm, which is a bit of a mouthful of a name, really. We're going to do a ring shot here just to slow down, just to avoid that ball and to avoid this ball. And again, with this one, you kind of just want to keep moving and keep jumping. And now we're entering the boss fight. So with Gelg Bolm, the idea is that his weak spot's inside this sort of like enclosed shell, and we want to basically throw moves from above into a shell. We're also going to attempt a fast strat here to skip some of the enemy attack cycles. So we're going to wait till the moo spawns here. So that's one hit. So now we're going to wait until he comes over to the second to last spring, and we're going to try and throw him in. Just got to wait for it. Okay, that's fine. So we're not going to get the super fast strat, but I can still get something fast enough. So it does skip him doing this leap attack at least, but we can still finish off fast enough, so... Just got to avoid this attack here. Just going to wait till he comes over here. Oops. In fact, let's try and do it this way instead. Nope. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do the fast strat now. So I'm sort of out of position for it, but that's not a problem, though. We'll just wait till he does the meatball attack here, which is this giant meatball that he just spawns in. We refer it as a meatball. It's like a sort of lava bolt. Yeah, that's unfortunate. So we're losing quite a bit of time here, but that's not a problem. It's not the best fight in the world. It's not the... I mean, I would say it's not the worst fight in the world, but that would be a lie. So that's 3-2 done. So essentially halfway done through the game already. But now the game starts getting a little bit more complex with the levels. So we're going to be doing a few more tricks, especially on this one, 4-1, which is probably going to have one of the bigger skips of the run. So we're back into essentially the first world again. So we're coming back home again in the storyline, just because the village is in trouble. Going to jump up there. Oops. Going to damage past this. Thank you. So there is another clip you can do here, but it's quite tricky. There's one you can do to the left there. But it requires a bit of patience and a little bit of setup as well. Just going to get this move. Oops. I'll probably take an intentional death just to make sure that I don't die in a moment. So hopefully I can survive this on here. Nope. That's fine then. Might as well take the death there then, I guess. Because I have to take it somewhere anyway. So what we're going to try and do is just damage past that. There we go. And then we're going to go outside and we're going to introduce ourselves to some different moves. These ones shoot like balls at us. We just got to avoid them. And then we're going to get rid of this move here just so he's out of the way. And then we're going to just do a long double jump there. And I'm going to grab that one. It's fine. Just going to wait there for a second. So yeah, we're approaching the quadruple jump trick that we're going to do in a moment. And essentially this just skips going all the way around the entire level, going on these like swinging bridges and everything, so it's certainly worth going for sure. I'm just going to get the checkpoint there for safety. So the idea is we go here. I'm just going to wait till this move goes a bit more to the left on the bird. Gonna grab that, gonna grab this, gonna grab him. So I have to do it again. So there's quite a lot going on. There's a lot of grabbing and there's a lot of throwing at the same time, pretty much. Because it's like a timing-based thing, this. That's not going to make it. Oh, I got it as well. That's unfortunate. So as you can see, there was that one last grab I needed to do, but for some reason I didn't try it. So we'll try it again. And now we've got to do this again. Unfortunately, this is what I expected, to be honest. This is where I assumed most of my time loss would probably come from. So we just have to make sure that we can get it. Won't be a problem, though, once we get it. So we'll be done with the level. Just got to watch out.
I believe in you. You got this.
Thank you, thank you. This is definitely what kills the runs the most, so... But we'll give it a few tries, and then if this doesn't work, we'll just go round. It's not a problem. I'd say this is definitely the one trick that was probably the most worrisome. Right, that might work. Ah. So, unfortunately, if the move goes to the right, I can't grab him because he's moving away from me. Right, let's see if I can do it this time. No. We'll give it one more try and then we'll go around. Hey, there we go. That's what we meant to do. See, that was only 15 tries. Not too bad. It's a lot less than I expected. But yeah, essentially that skips going around there, but of course by now I would have just been even Stevens with the time loss and save, really. I'm trying not to take damage here if I can. That's not really coming according to plan. Let's get rid of him so he doesn't do any more damage. Move out of the way, please. So yeah, this level's quite straightforward. You're just going down all these slides. And then there's a bit of platforming towards the end of the level. And then we're probably going on to the easiest boss of the run, really. Known as Palladium. It's the easiest boss unless you accidentally crash the game by mashing start too quickly during the cutscenes. So that's why I'm going to slow down when I do that. Going to grab that moo there to break the crystal. Going to keep one moo just in hand, just so we don't have to grab another one later, because we can go straight to this one here to activate the mechanism. Skip the cutscene there. A little important fact to note as well, during cutscenes as well, you're invincible. And also invincible just briefly after the cutscene ends, which can be a little bit helpful in some cases, I guess. Gotta get rid of him. 2 HP. It's fine. Just gotta make sure we don't take any more damage from here. So we'll just take our time there, just to make sure we don't do anything silly. Just going to grab this bird mood just so we can skip having to grab another one later. Otherwise you have to grab the one on the top right there. And now we're entering the fourth boss. Unfortunately, Grandpa's house just got destroyed. It's quite sad. I would definitely say that if you play this game casually, watch all the cutscenes. It's absolutely amazing, this game, with the cutscenes. So on to Palladium. So Palladium has 8 HP. But we can destroy 2 of its sections at once if we can aim in the middle of them, like so. The colours on the boss represent what type of attacks it can do. So once a certain colour has been destroyed, then it can't use that attack anymore. So yellow attacks basically spawn in an enemy spawn, which we can't destroy. So ideally we just want to bait it out of the way. And we're done. Important to note as well, when the swing's coming backwards as well, make sure not to get hit by the objects that are spawned around, or you have to do the boss again. That's if you've got like 1 HP, for example. So now we're done with World 4, now we're going to go on to World 5. So 5.1 has a multitude of tricks that we're going to be doing, where we have to collect 4 different coloured orbs to open the exit pretty much. So to begin with, we're going to show off the red orb, which also has a red orb skip, which essentially skips a chunk of the path that we take normally to the red orb. And then we're going to be doing blue orb, and then we're going to be doing green, and then yellow, in that order, basically. In a way, you can kind of choose the order you want to do, but I prefer this order just to get the harder tricks out of the way in a run. That means if things go wrong, then I can reset earlier. So we're going to grab this moo here. So we can't grab that bird mood just yet, but we're going to grab this one here when it comes, and we're going to hit a checkpoint behind the wall, which you can't see right now, but if I go like so, there we go. So I hit the checkpoint, intentionally die, and guess what? I spawn right next to the red orb. Magic. That's because the checkpoint is actually located next to the red orb normally, but because there's no collision, basically, in that section of the wall, we can hit the checkpoint, which is quite cool. And we're going to be doing something similar to that in a moment with the green orb, with the checkpoints. So anyway, we're doing like sort of checkpoint abuse basically, so just to skip portions of the level. So now we're approaching the blue orb, where we're going to do a clip through the wall to access it. It's not necessary to do so, but because you can just go around for like a 10-second time loss. But it's not too bad to do the clip here. So what we're going to do here is we're going to get rid of this swinging move. Going to grab this one and not destroy it just yet. Going to jump and hold left down and do some 1-frame taps. Going to try that again. So you've got to make sure you slightly clipped into the wall to do the taps. Oh. Jump left. Let's try this again. One more time. So unfortunately we fell down, which isn't a problem. That's a problem. No, I just died. Oh dear. That's going to spawn me here. That's not a problem. It's just a bit unfortunate I didn't get the clip in time, and I lost quite a bit of HP doing so, because I fell down into the fire. I need to go into the wall a bit more before I can go through it. There we go. That's what you're meant to do. Now, you've got to be really careful when you're doing that, because if you clip and you go down the wrong area, you're actually going to fall off the map. Mainly because Klonoa's not aligned properly with the path at that point. So you've really got to be a little bit observant where you're going to be clipping. So here we're going to get the green orb, and to do so we're going to be using that checkpoint down there in the bottom left. So to do that, let's go back inside, and let's not leave just yet. It's kind of disorientating sometimes when it comes to entering and leaving like areas, because you're entering a room from like the front or the back, and then you're exiting through like the left or the right side, so it can be a bit confusing when it comes to like inputs and everything. So we're going to grab this move, take it outside, I'm going to jump off the edge, hit the checkpoint, and then die. And that skips doing the whole green orb sequence, which can be a bit lengthy. I'm going to just jump across these, grab the green orb, I'm going to hit the checkpoint just for safety, because I'm not too certain right now if I'm going to be okay yet. So we're going to do the yellow orb. There's nothing special about the yellow one. Yellow orb is pretty much just grab it as normal. That's probably just the more standard way of getting the orb on this level. The other three, you do special tricks to do so. And then after 5-1, we're going to get into a little bit of a fun mechanic on 5-2, which I'll briefly explain now. So when we get onto 5-2, we're going to be doing a light and dark mechanic. I'll just wait for this other move to spawn. So the light and dark mechanic, basically when it's daytime, enemies can be grabbed. When it's nighttime, they can't. So, and the idea is we go on a sort of perfect cycle, which allows us to do the entire level without slowing down. So that'll be interesting to get. Gonna jump across here, grab that move. Somehow get a prisoner, but okay. And then we're done with the level. So that is 5-1 done. Skip those cutscenes. So yeah, the idea is you're going to basically see me just non-stop moving on 5-2 now. Assuming that the intro goes fine. And it's also got quite a dynamic soundtrack where the music changes depending on if it's day or night. So we're going to grab this move to begin with. I'm going to throw it away because we don't need it. I'm going to do a shot here and hold left. I'm going to jump there, grab that, just jump there, hit the switch, and it's night time, so we couldn't even grab that move anymore. So we're going to jump across here, get these two platforms, jump across here before it turns to daytime. So at night time the platforms are solid, and during the day they are not. So we're going to grab that move. And now we're going to intentionally just wait here till the screen goes dark. There we go. So what that'll do is when we go back outside, it'll be daytime again. And that's basically what we want right now, because we want to be able to grab the move. So everything's all timed to perfection on this level, pretty much. So I'm going to grab that move. Going to throw it over there. And then we're going on to the second floor. So pretty much we're going to be using the day and night cycles to our advantage. So for example, going outside now and it's going to slowly turn into nighttime. And now we can use the platforms. During the night as well, there's this like purple fish that keeps following us. It's indestructible, but you can slow it down by just hitting it. Take that extra life, which is kind of the game. Gonna just wait there a second. And we're going to do a damage boost to pass these moves. So we're going to go one there, and then one there. So you need at least 3 HP for that damage boost, basically. And level's proceeding pretty well so far. We're about to get onto another slight trick as well in the run, which allows us to grab a move through a fence. Which is completely unintentional, but it's a lot faster than doing it the intended way. Just going to grab this move here just so I can jump across this ledge in a second. Normally here you'd have to hit the switch again just to jump up, but we can just go like this, and it's nighttime so we can use these platforms. Everything's timed the way that we like it. So now we're approaching nearly the end of the level. We've still got one more room to essentially do. So we're going to go to the right here, and we're going to go grab a moo. Hopefully we can get the moo immediately, but the idea is I'm listening for a sound key right now. Got it. There we go. So I'm listening for a sound cue there. So what I'm specifically listening for is a ring shot sound which isn't colliding with the a wall or something, basically. So there's like a clunk clunk sound. That means it's hitting something. But when it's like smooth like this, then it's fine. So, and now we're approaching probably, I'd say this is probably the worst fight in the game, the Joker fight. Because Joker is a bit of a joker. Joker is essentially the sidekick of the main villain, Guardius. And he wants to cause us a bit of chaos, really. So the day and night mechanic also goes into this boss fight as well. So to begin with, Joker gives us a nice bow. He's like saying, "Oh, thank you very much." And we're saying to Joker, "No thanks." And he's a bit annoyed about that, so he's going to try and swing his fist at us. So I'm going to go over here, hit that there. I'm going to grab another move. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that one. So now after 3 hits, it goes into the night cycle. If you don't get 3 hits in time as well, it'll automatically go to the night cycle as well, meaning the fight's longer. So now Joker turns into this monstrosity. And then these coloured tiles also start to operate. So the idea is we want to change the colour of all these to yellow. Just by going over them. Just got to watch out for these moves here because we can't pick them up. So these moves can be just in the way, basically. So that's the problem. Also, dying at any point in this fight means that we have to do the entire fight again as well. So we just got to be a little bit wary with that. So technically he's got 3 phases to himself. So he's going to be doing a slight variation of what he was doing before. So it might make it a little bit harder for us to hit him. We're just going to wait a second. Going to get rid of that just so it's out of the way. There we go. See if I can get him with this one. There we go. Right, so now we're going on to the second sort of phase of the night cycle. So he'll do essentially the same attacks, but sometimes he'll do them a little bit longer this time. So I've just got to make sure that's well, if that happens, it happens. So you'll also notice there's also purple tiles, which just require a few more steps. Every time we do these tiles in quick succession as well, we get additional HP. I'm just not going to fall off the edge there. That would have been the end of that fight, essentially. And we're pretty much done. So now we just got to hit him twice, and then that's the fight done. So for this like last day cycle, he'll jump up and down, so it's going to make our hits a little bit harder to aim him with. So I'm going to grab that. I'm going to wait till he jumps. Throw the first one. Is he going to do it again? There we go. And that's the Joker fight done. So now we skip these cutscenes. And now we're into the final world. Vision 6-1. So Vision 6-1 and 6-2, they're considered probably some of the longest levels in the game. But as a speedrunner, I say, nah, they're some of the shortest levels in the run. And quite literally, this is probably the shortest level in the run. It's even shorter than the first level. So what we're going to do here is, we're going to go grab this moo. Just this single moo. And we're going to clip through the wall here. Or basically squish. There we go, that's perfect. So this is unintended. Normally you'd have to go through the level hitting all these switches to get through more and more of the level. But instead we're just going to grab this moo and just go outside. So you can go outside at any time on this level. But we specifically want to do it here. Because that door that was just down there where the checkpoint was essentially is the end of the level. And now we're done with the level. That's it. That's how quick 6-1 is. Normally it can take you 5 to 10 minutes, but not today. And that was actually a really good attempt, all things considered. So now we're done with 6-1, and now we're going to do the same with 6-2. So 6-2 is probably one of the more longer levels again. There's a lot going on, there's a lot of things you have to activate. But we say, no thanks, we'll just skip to the boss, because, you know, it's funny, isn't it? So to begin with, we're just going to go inside, and we're going to go grab a moo from one of the other rooms. And then we're going to do a clip through a wall to essentially skip half of the level to begin with, and then we're going to skip the other half by doing a triple jump. So we're going to go to the right here. Just going to hit this checkpoint just as a precaution. So we want to jump here, jump slightly there, grab that moo, and then just leave. And now we're going to do a clip here by doing similar strats to what we did with the blue orb earlier. There we go. Going to hit that checkpoint there. Going to grab that moo. Just going to get ready for the other moo to jump. So we're waiting for a certain timing with this red moo here. That's going to jump. 2. Perfect. So now we've just skipped the entire level. So now we're on to the second to last boss, Guardius. So what is essentially the main villain of the game, Guardius, except there's an extra boss afterwards. So Guardius has 3 cycles or 3 phases to him. So first phase is going to be him spawning in moves, which we can throw back at him. He's also got these like balls around the arena, which we don't want to touch because they teleport us into his sort of rotating, spinning wheel of death, I guess. But we're going to want to do that intentionally in a moment. So once we've done a bit more damage, we can use those just to skip a bit of his animations. So I'm going to do it now. So as you can see, we're just outside. You just got to jump to the ball again. So essentially it's to stop you from progressing in the boss. Phase 2, he's going to send moves onto these like rocket-powered sort of sleds. And we're just going to grab them and then throw them back. Just going to wait till another one comes down, but we're not going to throw this one straight away once we grab it. We're going to wait till another one spawns. That's unfortunate. So unfortunately we were trying to skip the second cycle there, or the second phase, but now we have to wait and do phase 3. And again, if you can't skip phase 3, then you're best off going in the teleport ball and just wait until he skips all that animation. So here, we're just going to have to wait till the triangle moves. It's going to move it to right. Got it. And he's dead. There we go. Still, it's a fine fight. It's not too bad. And then we're moving on to the final boss, which is known as NoHA24, which is what Guardius spawns in, bringing all the nightmares into this world, essentially. So it's like the nightmare boss. So, like Guardius, NoHA24 has 3 phases to him. So phase 1 is just basically feeding these cannons with all the allies that we've made in the game. And we're going to throw them into the cannons, so we need to do this 5 times. And I missed. That's unfortunate.
While we're loading up the cannons, do we have time for a quick announcement?
Absolutely.
All right, everyone. So, obviously, we're getting close to the end of this run. Then we have Super Monkey Ball coming up next, but then Trackmania is after that. And we have a bid war open for that one right now to decide what car model Gio is going to use. Right now, there is no donations towards that incentive, meaning you can decide with even a single dollar what car Gio's going to use. We've got Pingu, Among Us, Maxwell the Cat, Lightning McQueen, Minecraft Steve, or Ice Cream Van. You can decide with your donations to go rescue what car we're going to see. So hurry up, get those donations in, !donate in chat to get the link. Also, in your donations, tell me, does anyone else think that the green flying one looks like the Duolingo owl? That's what I've been wondering this whole run. So tell me in your donations, if you also see that, if you see something else, if you've been enjoying this run, whatever, send it to me in your donations. Let's get some hype going for that Trackmania run.
Heck yeah. That Pingu car sounds very interesting for sure. Right, so the first phase is done. So we've got 2 more phases to go. So I'm going to mash start here. Oh, actually, I don't need to mash start because there's no cutscene here. So NoHA24's a bit upset with us. He eats us anyway. And there you go, yeah. Klonoa's eaten. And now he's inside the belly of NoHA24. And so the best thing what we're going to do here is we're going to run away. We're kind of frightened. Goodbye. So we're doing this intentionally just to skip a bit of animation that the boss does, spawning in these like crystals. So these crystals here are the weak spots of the boss. So we want to just go back and forth, getting the moves, and then throwing them. Got 2 more to go here. Gonna wait till it goes left. like I said, we're getting very close to the end now. We've got this phase, and then we've got one more phase to go. So now he's going to spawn in a giant red crystal, which is going to move around. So we'll do the same thing again. Just grab a moo. One, and then we get another hit. Oops. Just going to wait a second. There we go. I was actually surprised that hit then. So we've got one more phase to go. It's going to mash start here, just so we can skip a cutscene incoming. And now we're going to go all the way around the arena, just keep going right all the time. He's going to do multiple attacks, such as destroying the ground and spawning in enemies. And using a rainbow ring attack as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab these moves, put them into the cannons again. And just keep doing that for all 5 cannons. Important to note as well, if you die at any point here, you're fine. You'll just do the cycle again. But ideally we don't want to do that, of course. That's 3. Whoa. Okay, just going to wait a second here. Got one more cannon to fill. That's Balut's cannon. Gonna wait till he comes over here. So time is going to be when the boss bar explodes. And time. Well, and then we skip to the end credits, of course, while I do my outro. But yeah, that's Klonoa. It's there's a lot going on with that. But overall, it's a fun run to get into. Yeah, I'm really happy with that run. I think most of the time loss came obviously from 4-1, not getting that trick straight away. And we also died, I think, in 5-1 as well. But other than that, 6-1, 6-2 was flawless. Like, that was probably the best I've ever had for those 2 levels. But we didn't get a lot of the clips in 5-1, so 5-1 in general was a pretty bad level. And now Klonoa is going back home. Or basically I like to joke with this cutscene here, saying, oh no, this is what happens when I reset my runs. Going back to the beginning of the game. No, I don't want to lose the PB. But it is such a sad cutscene, this. It's lovely though, this game. It's well made by Namco for sure. Only problem is, of course, the original game, it's only accessible on PS1 or the Namco collection on PS2 in Japan. You've got the remake, but it's not the same, because the remake is all 3D and everything, so... But yeah, I just want to say thank you very much. I do appreciate you letting me run Klonoa as well. It's a game that I've enjoyed running recently. Like I said, I learnt this in quite a short amount of time. I learnt it after I did take part in this in a blind race. And I learnt it just over the weekend, and I think I already got like a 46, 47 after like 2-3 days. It's relatively easy to learn. The community is extremely helpful, so I definitely would suggest checking out the Klonoa speedrun Discord. And yeah, other than that, I just want to say thank you very much for watching. Of course, I'll be back on later with Spyro 3, Year of the Dragon, 100 Egg. Until then,
Yeah.
Thank you very much, and goodbye.
All right. Thank you so much for that incredible run. That was so good. And of course, come back for Spyro later today. I'm excited for that. I'm very excited to hear and get to see more of you running. With that, folks, we'll be back very shortly after a little break.